Hey y'all, so little change. I've tried doing a little bit of vehicle maintenance videos. I've tried doing a little bit of different camping videos. This goes back to the camping. I bought a Blackfin rooftop tent off Craigslist probably about 6 months ago. Did a little bit of work on it as far as like just figuring out what needed to happen. There's a gas strut behind right here that was actually out. I have the one that I replaced. It has zero compression to it. So once you tried to pick up the top, it would just collapse. That being said, I ended up on Amazon and bought a set of 100-pound struts. I actually already swapped it out, as you can see. This is all lifted, but I'm going to change out the opposite corner as well. So I'm going to actually show you how I did it, what I changed, and hopefully make some changes to it. Being a second hand, we have a few issues with it. Let me see if I can figure out how to wrap the camera around that. But we're going to do a little bit of a roundabout guide or show off. I don't know what to call it. We're going to end up just walking around here and show what needs to be changed, what I got myself into. But I don't think it's going to be a major project, but hopefully this entire video, or this video, I'm not going to try to make a series because that just doesn't make any sense to me. So I'm going to make this one video and show you how I replaced this strut. The mattress needs to be changed out, or not changed out. I actually need a mattress. I don't have one in here. There's just a few small issues. One of the bug net for this screen here has a hole in it, and also there's a hole on the fabric on the opposite side. So let me do a roundabout. We'll see what I can show. If not, we'll just show straight to the repairs. I don't know how I'm going to do a roundabout with this because it's really kind of short. But we'll see. All right, so going back handheld, what we've got is, you just saw me sitting in this doorway. If I can do this all one-handed, that'd be even better. But we'll see. All right, so on here, sorry, my camera tripod we've already had that video. We've got a screen here that's ripped. It has already been sewn by the first person that had it. There's also a secondary hole. I don't know that it's a cigarette burn, but that's what it looks like to me. It may have just caught an ember, who knows. Let's get me back in the file. So ember here, this one actually comes straight across. I'm not gonna mess with that one, simply because it's already there, it's working. So we'll run it as is. In the future, I may change that up. This cigarette burn, ember burn, that will be patched, or it may just be sewn the same way this was. I've got some netting in one of my bags, so we'll see how that works out. To run around, this is the front of the tent, and you can see where the skirt is. There's a rip straight across, but it's all ripstop nylon or ripstop canvas. So I may be able to repair that. If not, I'll figure something out. But more than likely, I'm going to try to repair that. This gets a little closer to the wall, but we're going to run on in here. On the second side, or on the far side, there is a rip here, and it looks like it is 1 by probably 1.5 to 2 inches. Obviously you just saw me try to figure out a measurement, but that's okay. You can see a little bit of blue tint. What I've already done, and I'll get into that as well, is I've already backed it with some painter's tape. Hopefully that'll be something that's really quick and I can actually get that figured out. That's actually the major issues to this tent. which is not too bad. There's some sun damage. As you can see on the skirt, you can see the sun damage coloring. It used to be an olive drab. Now it's a gray. I've already replaced the strut that is behind here. But like I said, I'm going to pull this opposite corner to replace it. So I have 100-pound on each corner here. I believe they're probably 60 pounds by the looks of how it's actually worked out so far. So eventually I'm going to change out the front struts to add to that, to be 100-pound. But that's one of those we'll see what happens kind of projects. But in reality, that's the majors. As you can see inside, I've got the ladder inside. I've got the replacement parts that I've dealt with, but we don't have a mattress. So I've reached out to a couple places, to a couple different companies. We've talked about Roof Nest. We've talked about Nomad, I believe is the brand, or that might be the series. Either way, they're basically the exact same dimensions. I know I'm dealing with trying to focus on the tent, but dimension wise they're the same tent. Now company wise and all that fun stuff is completely different, but we're trying to figure out how to do that economically. I don't want to put too much money into it, but at the same time I want it to be a good, whether I'm flipping it or whether I'm deciding to continue on, I want it to be something that I would use. That's the main thing. So look at that, using the tripod for what it's for. So I want to get this tent to work correctly, to work efficiently for what I'm doing. And what I have in the long-term plans is I'm either going to put it back on my truck. We'll do a review on the rack system that I use. That will be a whole nother video. Right now we're just trying to do this work. But in the future, I'm either going to put it back on this truck, or I'm going to either flip it or update the truck setup and put this on a trailer. So a little bit about the tent itself is we're roughly 48 inches wide. We are 80 inches length. So behind me to behind you is about 72 inches. No, that's wrong. That's 6 foot. 80 inches. So we've got a little bit of room to it. Once I get everything set up, then I'll do the welcome to my house walkthrough type of deal, but we're gonna go with that for now. So let's get into the repairs it ends up doing. This will be over a couple days. I'm not gonna jump into it right now and be like, oh, let's throw all of this together. Number one, I know that the patch work for the sidewall is gonna take 24 hours. I know that the arm is going to take probably about 20 minutes to replace that strut with. Hey, look at how messed up I can make a video. Oh, we're amateur hour around here, and I'm going to claim it. So let's get that. Anyway, we're going to jump into that here in just a minute. I had my camera screw up on me for a second there. It does, the top does have a twist, so we're going to fix that, hopefully with replacing this strut. If it doesn't, my next option will be to do the obvious and grab 2 more of these 100-pound struts, change out the fronts, and hopefully having all 4 with the same pound rating will correct that twist. But we're gonna get into that here in a minute. There's a million other things going on. This is a Blackfin rooftop box. I don't know what all they called it, but it's a Blackfin brand camper box. So we're gonna change that out as far as any parts that I can do. So that's gonna be a ladder mount, another strut, the hole in the wall, the hole in the skirt, and a little bit of sewing in the bug netting. Sounds like it's gonna be an easy project, but I've spent the last 6 months tracking down parts. So that's where my issue is. Being a Blackfin and trying to find parts for it has been my main issue. So it's a lot of trips to Lowe's, Home Depot, random, small town hardware shops. Not a big deal, just a big hassle for. Sorry, it has all these fun little pockets. Can't see it in that one either. It's got pockets that go down the side, and again, we'll do that. That's a whole different video. Let's get into the rebuild. We will start with removing the top, and there's going to be a million people that say don't remove the top, but you did extra steps. That's fine. I'm removing the top because I'll probably get into this a second time. I know my mind works weird. I'm removing the top in order to be able to lay down the walls so that I can get a flat surface for that hole that I'm going to be patching. We'll get into that. I'm gonna go get all my stuff together. We're gonna start with removing the top. We'll see how much of this gets videoed. Either way, I'll see you in a few seconds. We'll get all this worked out. Alright y'all, so we went through what all needed to be done. This is going to be kind of a meshed together video because some of this is just going to take too much time to just video it. So to start off, what I'm actually going to do is unzip the canvas from this tent. It actually starts on the other side. Unzips 360. So one zipper, one seam. The bottom is riveted, so the sides actually stay connected to the bottom. This is something that changed with newer models, not with the Blackfin, but with things like the Nomad and the Roof Nest. So you can actually change out this canvas when it does things like fading and UV issues. So we're going to unzip it. I'm going to actually remove the top, and I think I'm going to do this all at one time so that you don't have all this back and forth. So to explain, we'll unzip. There is a 13 millimeter bolt that holds the struts to the top and the bottom plastics. We're gonna go ahead and we'll disconnect that. I'm going to remove the top. There's nothing wrong with the top itself, so we're gonna remove that. I'll pull the strut out that I'm going to replace. We'll show you how to do that, or what I did for that. I've got some semi issues with that, but we'll show you what I did to change it, and then I'll get into the patch for the hole that's on the other side. We'll do that real quick. Hopefully that's a relatively fast video. I'm sure this is going to end up being another 20 or 30 minute video, but we'll do what we can. I know that's a long time to keep people's attention, so I'm going to unzip, I'm going to remove the top, and we'll get back into this. And I'll show you kind of what's going on. Hopefully, we'll see what happens. Pay attention, or watch the video, pay attention to what I'm saying more than what I'm doing, because I'm going to explain over and over what I changed, or what I did in between shots. So, back in a second, we'll get this all unwound and taken apart. All right, so what I've done is I actually took a couple sets of my trekking poles and just propped up the inside. So whenever I remove the canvas, I've lost that axis change. In order to keep this upright, I've just put a couple of trekking poles in, and that way I should be able to unzip and kind of lay this down, and then I'll just take that 13 millimeter. I've got my impact floating around here. I'm gonna pull those bolts out and be able to lift this top off. That'll leave the arms free, and then I'll just remove the trekking poles that are holding it, so that I can lay this down, the canvas down, patch that patch, and keep moving forward. So from now on, I'm gonna have this off. I'll have that patch will actually be drying in the background while I fix the strut arms. So that's your update for here. Real quick, I'm gonna go around. We'll probably see whether or not this falls on me. If it does, it does. If it doesn't, hey, cool. So walking around, that's all you're gonna hear from me. We're gonna get that fixed up. So I've already broken through the opposite side. It's just a simple zipper that goes along the zipper top. As you can hear, I just lost actually 2 of my poles. So bracing didn't work out as well as planned. We'll get this figured out. So it might fall on me. We'll see. But as you can see, it just drops. It's just the YKK zipper that drops down, riveted on the bottom. And we're just gonna walk around here. All right, 3 for 3 for what was supposed to be support. We may as well drop this one. There's 4, so that did not work out as planned, and that's fine. That was reality. It was to be expected. So there's that. So all we're gonna do is I'm gonna drop it one way. Yeah, we'll just go backwards. All right, so I don't know where my video dropped, but my supports did not work. I just dropped this backwards, so our top is just kind of sitting there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to actually reach under here. I'll remove the 13 millimeter bolts, and this will actually flip backwards. It'll be done. It'll be taken off, and from there we'll get a little bit of changes. So welcome to learning with me. So we'll figure out how this works out. But for the moment, like I said, 13 millimeter, I'm just gonna impact those off, pick off the top. We'll be back in a second. All right, welcome back. We've removed the top. Like I said, 13 millimeter wrenches. There's 4 of them that hold the top on to the struts. Guess what? Yeah, these are riveted into the base, but not through the base. So I've got one that came out completely. I've got one that came out 1 out of 3. No, held on 1 out of 3. So, as my mama says, I don't know why you cuss and scream a lot whenever you're working on shit. This is why. So for anybody still wondering why there's a lot of cussing and screaming whenever you start working on everything that's supposed to be a simple project, welcome. So from that, I'm gonna have to rivet these back in. Defeat. We'll see. Simple project, but hopefully I can find the correct rivets and a rivet gun to do this. Originally I was just gonna pull all these out and show. You know, one of these days I'm gonna have to check my camera and see why the hell it keeps turning off on me. removed the top. I found out that one of the arms decided it didn't want to be connected to the base. So I got to replace that. I've got 3 rivets out of it. I've got another one right here behind me that is holding on by 1 rivet. So I've got to replace both of those. I've got to check these 2 to see what's going on. Maybe it happened when I moved it. Maybe it's something that just needs to be rebuilt. In the end, this is going to be a brand new trailer, or a brand new tent apparently. But for the moment, I've got this to work on. I gotta find out where to get a hold of these rivets. I'll probably just go to like Tandy Leather or something to that extent. But we'll see what that requires. I can't take the canvas off the bottom because it is riveted. Updated models, that zips out. I really wish this would have been that way, but probably wouldn't have gotten it at the price that I got it if that was true. For the moment, we're going to continue on with making this patch. I'll move the camera closer, build the patch real quick. It takes 24 hours to cure, so we'll do that. And sometime this week, I get some mounting brackets in so I can connect it to this, to my bed rack. I don't know where to go from that. Sometime this week I'll do rivets. This might end up being a multi-piece so I can like send in some updates. I don't know. We'll see what happens. Yeah. Fun stuff. But the good news is I got the top off. I found out that maybe my twist has more to do with the fact that one of my arms wasn't even connected. Let's go from there. I'm going to be back in a second with the patch stuff. Let me clean up a little bit. I'll lay this out, show you what I got to do for that, and we'll go from there. It's gonna be a longer video than I thought, but that's okay. Yeah. Be back in a second.